Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome back to Cities Skylines. Now in the last episode, I added a new city park, Thornton Hills, to our suburbs, and a bunch of new sports amenities to Carlo Valley, which is where our university is. I also laid the groundwork for Seaview, which is our, coastal, high-density residential area. I laid the groundwork for that area to grow by placing in a new park, some education facilities, both elementary and high school, and then the population has kind of come down and now come back to where it was right before that. So we've actually just hit a new all-time high of 29,000. Today, my only goal is to get this population to 32,000, which will unlock the next tile over and give me access to the precious highway and the rail line, actually. With both of those, I'm hoping then to create a direct line into the heart of the downtown area. But before we begin, I have a quick time lapse where I wanted to adjust some of the roads and infrastructure we currently have to better prepare for the future. So let's begin. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, just a very quick time-lapse here. I thought it was worth showing, even though it is just a couple of minutes, because I've made some adjustments to some roads, as you can see. These roads over towards the riverbank. While I was changing some timed traffic lights on various different places, I wanted to see the cause and effect of that. So while time is playing, I decided just to clean up a few of the different roads that had left me a bit bothered for a while and I'd been meaning to get back to. So one of them is this one. Next to the riverbank, we have the districts of, I think, Thornton, Hickory, and Kilnwood, which are all bordering this road, so they're all slightly affected, and they all get a few extra houses because of it, because creating that extra space meant I might as well throw in one or two extra cul-de-sacs and fill them with some houses, especially since we deleted some of the houses when we made room in the previous episode for that park. We deleted all the houses on the inside of it. Now, I actually recorded this time-lapse. Me speaking here is after recording the entire episode, and you'll notice, I just thought I should preface, you'll notice a few different cuts in the episode, and that's because I went way over time, like just way longer than I was supposed to. I actually aim for 40 minutes, and I always end up going over 60. It's just that type of game, and I do that for a lot of different videos, so I'm going to really try and be a bit more strict with myself, just because I think hitting people with 60 minutes can be a lot of the time, and I know 40 can even be a lot for a lot of people too, and it's just nicer to break it up a bit, so that's the only reason that I was thinking of doing that. I think 40 is a kind of a decent sweet spot. Anyways, this is obviously a long video, but some of it is cut out, and that's because some of the things I decided to cut, if you see a couple of streets that have been built, and you're like, how did that happen? It's because I plan on changing it, so don't worry about it. It's just going to go away. So some of this stuff was kind of temporary while I was trying to push that population all the way to 32,000. Alright, so as you can see, just building an arterial road here going all the way around the new area of the map that we had unlocked a couple of episodes ago, and I decided to get rid of these roundabouts that were in the center, which I'd mentioned before, and redo where that bridge is going to come across. Again, I'm being a bit indecisive, I wish I was like City Planner Plays. He just seems to always have that plan of exactly what he wants to do. Me, I'm a bit more chaotic. I have a vague idea of where I want things to go, and then it's kind of trial and error to see if those plans will work, and effectively, I want the bridge to come across further to the left and go more central into this new downtown area that hasn't even got anything in it right now, in anticipation for when we get the railway and the motorway built into that area as well. So we'll see how it all shakes out. I really would appreciate as much advice regarding traffic problems as possible. It does help. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Now, there's not much to really focus on with that time-lapse. It was quite a small incremental redevelopment, just utilizing a bit more of the space towards the riverbank, filling that in with a few extra residences. Now, the bridge has changed from connecting to this area to now connecting over here, and this area is now primed for expansion once that rail line that's going along here can then diverge, come into the heart of the city, as I've been saying, along with the highway, hopefully, and then we should really see a big development quite quickly. I've been very cautious with my development, as I've mentioned before, because everyone's coming in through one focal point, and that is causing delays and backups and all these sorts of problems here. There's now a timed traffic light down here, which actually allows these guys to kind of decide which road should go first. Basically just on these two, because of the way the weird off-ramps split. What was happening was these guys always had the priority, so this line would be totally backed up. So basically, this is the line that's coming from, if we want to call it, the east direction, and this is the line that would have been then coming from the west direction, so they come from out there. So what was happening was the westerners were just being totally blocked in, so having a little time traffic light, just deciding what happens in this area here, allows us to say, okay, you guys can go, you guys can go. So that's helped tremendously in freeing up the highway. However, I've noticed that we're just getting lots of backups pretty much everywhere, and we're just going to continue to see that as we push and push and push the population, which for some reason is actually radically dropping off. I don't know what's going on. Maybe one of these houses has been redeveloped. Actually, okay, so let's just get into things. We're going to be developing up Seaview a bit, and we've also got big demand for industry, offices, that sort of thing. So We can do two things at once. Let's first pause it, and we'll add in some extra industry out here. So this is going to be the specialized sort of oil industry, right? We have that oil specialization in this area specifically. We'll just pop those 3 bits in there, and this one here. Just cut that. Alright, so that's all going to go into Myrtle Park, which is just a temporary name. That's just for the oil specialization that we have at the moment. Didn't I rename this? Pretty sure I did. Shoreline Business Park. Let's just call it that. Okay. The next thing then is I want to get even more industry in, but we'll just shrink in this area here a little bit, the district of Shoreline Business Park. And then we'll add in regular generic industry here and see if that can kind of fill up. Another thing is I noticed that our city vitals, water availability is quite low, electricity availability is getting a little bit low, so we've got an incineration plant here burning some of our garbage, and we've got trucks out going collecting it. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm going to add another one in. The reason... Hang on, that music is so loud. There we go. So the reason I don't know if it's a good idea is because I don't know if we'll have enough garbage to power this, but let's try it. We're going to be accumulating a lot more when we add a few more houses in, and having these two together here I think is still good. Like I said, this area is due for a redevelopment at some point, but I really just want to hit that milestone as quickly as possible to get the 2x2, to open up the area, and honestly from then on, I don't know if we can hit 42 and so on and so forth before we get to this Megalopolis. So basically this... right, where we get all the tiles unlocked. That's the mod 81 tiles. And the idea behind that mod and the realistic population mod is that you also are expected to have the mod, quote, unlock everything. So you're supposed to not go through the progression like I've been doing. I've been making it very challenging for myself, but it's been fun to use the realistic population. It means that you have to have much larger spread area to get yourself to the point where you can actually develop a downtown area. And then you've got that inverse problem of too many people in a small area because of the way the realistic population works. Anyway, while it's all been very fun to go through, I think maybe, depending how I feel, when we get to Capital City at 32,000, I may just then unlock the rest of the tiles. Something like that. Or at least a few more around me. Because I've been really hamstrung, especially with this highway, by only having such a small amount to go with. And I guess it's been my fault. I've expanded on the coast on purpose rather than at the highway. But what would be ideal is obviously to get this tile, maybe this tile, and then a couple over on this side, and get a little bit further back on the highway too. That would be the ideal. But I've just been kind of, playing the game, I guess. Anyway, I digress. So, we've given this time for some people to kind of start moving in and growing, filling up the industry. It's going to put demand on our road network as trucks are going to be coming in here looking to get their goods or whatever. Although we do have a cargo terminal right there, so maybe that can actually just bring in things from there as well. Maybe take some of the load off those guys. Alright, so, I've noticed that there's some finicky little buildings here that we might want to clean up in terms of zoning. Let's just do that real quickly as well. Yeah, some lazy zoning here. So I'll tell you what, grab this, turn off the zones around it, do the upgrade tool, and just say we don't want any zoning on these roads, please. That just cleans up our squares inside. Also, I've saw people mention that this is really an odd junction. It is. I knew that. The reason, I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy, but I thought, like, coming off of a bridge, you'd want to give people more time before there's going to be a junction like that. But I guess there's no real... I can't really think of an actual reason for that. It was just an inherent feeling that this road could easily bend down more correctly following the river and go straight into here. But something about it just felt odd to me. But maybe I'll do that because, as you can see, the zoning is a little strange then because of it. I just thought, like, you should clear the bridge a bit more before you have, like, a junction. I don't know. Something tells me you should do that, but... I can't actually think logically, at least in terms of the game, I can't think of a reason why I'd do that, but yeah. Alright, so this is now rezoned, all good. Let's just rezone this, this, and this. And let's just get rid of some of these smaller buildings so they can repopulate as a bit bigger, maybe. So the population might come down a little bit before it comes up, but then it should be okay. Got a bit of an empty gap up there. Also, don't know if I mentioned it in the time lapse, but we have a new tram going around this area as well. So it's kind of like this sort of loop here, I think. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Let's just check the line. This is tram line number 3. There we go. Yeah, so I might actually change these colors thinking about it because they're a little confusing. So we'll just make this one red. Why not? Purple can stay, and then we'll make this one like blue. Now we can at least see the differences. So that red line that's going around the outside Ah, sorry, yeah. So it doesn't cut through here. That's not trams. That's bus only, actually. But this one has a tram line. So it's going through there, and it's converging with some of the purple line, actually, on the same stops. So that's good. So yeah, that should help with the extra development that we're going to be doing here for people. All right, we'll let time play again. Let these fill up. I'll be trying to keep an eye on that traffic flow. Do we have traffic flow as a thing here? Surprisingly, no. I would have thought that'd be a good city vital just to see, but I guess it doesn't. You can't really react to it in real time. 78% is seems really high. It should be around 60, but maybe since reloading the game, things have changed. All right, so just gonna get rid of that cemetery. It's no longer needed there. We cleared it out completely, burned them in the crematorium. Okay, so what we're gonna do is start filling out this area here. Now, one of the first things I thought would be good to add was the building I talked about at the end of the last episode, which was a department store. So department store can go right there. Mayor's on a roll, building more attractions around the city. Awesome. Money buys everything. Oh, and something else that people had mentioned was this district. It's a financial district, or it's supposed to be, but I never actually gave it that delineation. So in the office specializations, we want to call it a financial sector, I guess. Now, other people have asked for an IT cluster. So I tested these out. Both of them have extremely tall buildings. That would be a little bit early for us to do, but we'll try out the financial one. It's not necessarily as big. The IT cluster seems to have no levels of progression. It's just like tier 1, you know, kind of like the oil buildings that we saw over here. It's just like they're maxed out from the beginning. They can't go anywhere from here, and they have what they have. And the IT cluster is sort of that way, with extremely tall buildings that would demand like 600 people to work in them and stuff. So it's just too much. We're not there yet, but it would be cool to do that eventually, but we're not there yet. So we're going to make this the financial district, and I think the tier 1 buildings, we have to mark them as historic. We don't want them to level up any further than that, otherwise things are going to go bad. Now, these are marked as historic, but I don't think it actually matters. I think they'll still get overruled by the financial sector in a moment. We'll see. I haven't ever looked at the wall-to-wall office buildings as well. They could be interesting. Right, so we have our new department store here. Looking fine. Along with some other commercial buildings. We have our high school here, public library, little park outside of it, our metro station. Now, something I was planning on adding, I was having a look at different buildings we could use. What I'd like to give these guys is some more health benefits. So we actually saw this building before. We can use it again, which is the sports hall and gymnasium. Now, a great thing about this building is it fits right in at that extra kind of slot that I've made without overlapping the grid space and zone space up there. So we'll pop it in right here, 120,000, and then next to it, what would be good next to a sports hall and gymnasium? A pool, of course. 75,000. Seeing as we're rolling in cash, I think we can afford to do it. Now, we can see that the radius, that light blue radius, pretty much envelops all of these buildings. So I'm pretty happy about that. Same with this one. So it's a health benefit for everyone around. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the office buildings, and we're going to create a little office line right here as a breaker between what's going to be residential and commercial, just to absorb some of that sound. So we've zoned that correctly, hopefully, and we'll just maybe make a path at the back of it. I thought that would be kind of a neat idea. That's why I'm using by 3, by the way, instead of by 4x4, because those buildings can be a little too big. So I'm trying to force it to use slightly less huge buildings, at least at first. All right, and I guess seeing as we know that these guys are going to be moving in here, we'll block that all up, and we'll go with a bit more high-density commercial on this side. This can move along. Just move it right to the edge. And then underground, we'll have to just reconnect that. So that's our metro line. By the way, yeah, I said in the previous episode, I couldn't think of the word subway as the name for the vehicle. But people corrected me on that. So thank you. So it's called a subway. So the actual, like, train, the underground train, is called the subway. But I always thought of the subway as the tunnel, not necessarily the locomotive, if you will. All right, so we got to just reconnect that line. So drag the stuff to move it. Just do it once and it should just reconnect. There we go. All right, nice. Should be good. All rehooked back up. So yeah, so sports hall and gymnasium. We have the community pool. It is going to be in and around some offices and shops, but I actually think that's okay. I'm totally fine with that as a placement, and it's nearby the high school, near a department store. It's also nearby some of the houses, just not directly in amongst them. So we'll see how people feel about that. All right, looks like we've gotten rid of the demand for offices a lot. How's this looking, by the way? So those are gone already. 2 of them just evaporated. Let's see what we're getting in its place. 156 workers. This sounds good. And it's getting the tax bonus, which these ones are not. So the tax bonus is coming from the Financial District DLC, where we've added in our stock exchange. We've leveled it up. Therefore, we're getting a tax bonus of 3%. If we level it up further to level 3 by cashing out greasy gasoline, which we could do. It's actually, you know what? It's kind of tempting to buy. Although we're buying at the peak, I guess. Maybe buy the very legit company. Can we do that? We're already maxed out. Okay. We'll just leave it for a while. But yeah, if we just... I'm sure it'll be easy enough, but to hit that threshold, the next building up is just going to be huge, so I didn't want to go with that too early on. This looks awesome. Hell yeah. I like the look of this. Alright, and hopefully all those people can take basically the same jobs in here. Alright, let's just speed up time. So the goal, remember, 32,000, we're at 29.2, so we actually haven't budged at the moment. But we've got a bunch of new industry moving in this way. All this new oil industry. Jobs are being created. Commerce is being delivered, if that's a term. Or the commercial demand is being met. So I would hope to see some demand for residential going up soon. Although, or just the houses actually filling in. One other thing, I thought like another multi-story car park nearby the department store would be a good idea. We've got one there, but maybe another one, you know, just next to the side of it. Would it work like this? So that road doesn't actually come all the way down, and the entrance is at the far side. That wouldn't look quite right. You could maybe do it there with Anarchy, if you didn't mind just touching on the edge of the road a little bit, but nope. Tell you what, let's just get this road and bring it down much further, but I don't want to connect it all the way. Just, yeah, I guess you're just about there. Let's just sink it down ever so slightly. Just turn these back on. Just about there. And we can connect it with a path or something. So let's try that. Now this already has a baked in pathway next to it. As we can see, Mary Peters is using that pathway right now. She's loving it. She's a sightseeing tourist. Well, she is actually going into the building itself. But they will use that to go around the edge. So that's kind of nice. God, helicopters. Where are you guys heading to, huh? Fire at the middle residence. Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, yeah, the helicopters are out there, man. This one's raging. Guys on the ground are handling it. Guys in the air trying to put out the fires in the brush, I guess. How very apt to what's going on right now in the real world. So, I had meant to mention that this road is still restricted for private vehicles. So it is mostly commercial vehicles using that, and then obviously service vehicles and things, whereas this is the road that private vehicles can now take. So what I fully expect to see is this road getting completely backed up, which we are seeing now, with new people trying to move in, as well as goods and services coming in too, as we're expanding our industries. And like I said, that timed traffic light should divide up, allowing them to move. I'm surprised it doesn't actually flick a little sooner, but I think they have a minimum wait time on each. But yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so what we'll probably need to do... Is it getting busy down here as well? Crossroads and traffic. What are we at now? 77. Yeah, I would fully expect this to go down to like in the 60s if we hit this 32 number that I'm aiming for. Something I just want to check. It's quite dark. Yeah, it's supposed to be dark. Okay. So, I'm going to set up a timed traffic light here because I feel like it's going to be needed. It might not look like it's needed now, but I can just feel it coming. Lots and lots of cars. Oh, something else actually. I toggled it on, but I noticed it was toggled off later. Oh no, it's still on. Advanced Vehicle AI. Okay, good. Just making sure that that was on. People are using both lanes, actually, which is basically what that mod does, or it helps to do. They spread out the traffic a little bit until they get to the turn that they need to come up to. Oh my god. Ah, the water issue, of course. My bad. Let's sort that out right now. So, we'll put down one water thing right here. A pump. And then we'll pull the 2 others that we had in our park away from there. Alright. I'll just connect them up, I guess, right? Just with pipes straight into each other and hook them up to the grid. And then maybe just for slightly finer placement, we'll just nudge these together a bit to look more like one building. How's their height? Height's relatively the same. We'll sink these ones down a bit, bring this one up a bit, down a bit. good enough. Looks more like one unit now. Without spending way too long on it. Cool. Alright, hopefully that'll meet the demands of the people. And the pipe should move with them, so that should be okay. Alright, we'll just speed up time now a bit as we're getting into the nighttime. It's getting quite dark. And let's have a look at our buildings and how they're upgrading. So this one's gone way too big. That was so quick. Look how big they are. Oh my god. 600 and something workers were needed in that one. I'm going to have to kill them or collapse them. Can we do the same to this? It's already too late, I feel like, for all of them. Yeah, we need to keep them small. It's too much otherwise. 600 is just insane. We don't have that many people. We will one day, but not today. That day is not today. So just as soon as they appear, I'll just talk on historic and it'll be okay. There we go. What do we have in this one? 586. That's going to be too big already. So we'll see how we get on with that. But maybe when it becomes level 2, I can change it or something. Or we could just knock it and wait till get another one. And then this one. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to knock it before people move in. So that way no one has to get fired. 251 workers. Alright, let's speed up time. Something else I was thinking of doing, actually, is just to continue this straight over. And we'll gridify it. Now, it would be nice to make this a solid, contained grid like this, if I could manage it, but the roads are going to be so finicky, I don't know how we can really achieve that. Yeah. It might take a bit of playing around with from me. I suppose we could just try to rebuild it. It's just a little finicky. Alright, so grab the tram road. Actually, we'll grab... Which one should we get first? Yeah, let's try the tram road. We'll just bring this one straight up. And then that needs to go straight across and link in. So it would have to come to about there. And then link in. It's going to destroy a couple buildings, but I think it'll be okay. And then that can link in here. Something like that. Get rid of this edge. Now, I wonder, does the tram route stay the same? I think it probably will, because the stops are the same. And then we just have to reconnect up this bit to there. Was that one way before? Seems like it. It is now. Alright, cool. So at least we've got a bit more zoning space to work with in here, and I don't see any broken lines in terms of transport, so hopefully we're okay. 45 on the line. A lot of people coming out of the metro. A lot of people using the metro all the time. 1,000 passengers this week. We've got 5 cars in there now, or 5 subways, if you want to call it that. Doesn't feel right to call it that, but that's what's happening. It is the dead of night right now, though. Also, with all these new people moving in, we should probably see that they're arriving via city bus from the inner city bus terminal. This isn't actually hooked up to anything at the moment, so it really could move in the future. Alright, let's make that historical. So we've got now a really even looking sort of building, which is cool, and then I guess this bit kind of juts out a bit. I don't really mind that, but until we're ready to level these up, it's nice in a way to control this, because once we filled in a lot of the other spaces, then we can just untick that button, and then we know that we're going to get more people put into the same amount of space. Now, you're missing some water. Oh, I must have cut the line. Electricity availability... what is going on, actually? Yeah, sorry. It seems like electricity's been cut somewhere, or it's just not... we're not making enough. Yeah, it seems like we're not making enough. And that's therefore powered down the... oh, no, it's... oh, it wasn't close enough. My bad. Let's see if this fixes it. When water comes online, maybe electricity will go back up. Maybe. I'm surprised that electricity went down. Didn't we just put down this thing? And its power output is 3 and 9. Why is it so low here? Processing rate 1392 per week. 40,000 per week. So it's just not burning as much. Okay. It's like variable. Interesting. Well, we're making enough electricity now. I'll leave it, but I'll bear that in mind. We probably just need another oil power plant, to be fair. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. That's interesting, though. The bigger the traffic problem, if we ever have one getting up to here, that means then your power could go down because you're not delivering in enough garbage. That's starting to get really backed up. The inner line is flowing pretty well, but that outer line is getting way more backed up than it should be. How are we doing everywhere else? I guess let's just have another peek. It's not, considering, not too bad. Considering this is all coming in through one place, basically. Not too bad. I think dividing up the roads between cargo, so this being a cargo-only road, and that being a private car-only road, it's really helped. This is why I was thinking what we might need is time traffic lights, because these guys are never really going to get around the roundabout when this road gets busy, because they'll always they'll constantly be going around it and stopping these guys getting out. Just beg the question, why isn't it just a junction, I suppose, but whatever. Okay, so how are we doing? How have we grown here? So these guys have moved in. Looking good. We have some empty space there. There's some empty space for workers. Not enough workers. Let's get some more workers, eh? There. Easy as that. What's the big deal? And we just got... Oh yeah, sorry, we have to fill this in as well. There we go. Lots of people ready to move in. Surely. Alright, let's chill out. Let's take a moment to look around. Hey, we just crossed 30,000. It's getting exciting. We're getting close. Getting very close indeed. What's the unemployment rate? 13%. Wow. Even with our generic industry. I would have thought that that would clear up a lot of the uneducated jobs. Oh, there's not many people in these places. I guess that's why. We could get some bigger factories going. What are you missing? Needs to be covered by more services. Yeah, let's get them some services. Little firehouse? A local firehouse. Pop it in next to the water treatment. Oh, right on the edge here. Maybe a police station, keep the crime down. It's a fairly big building, actually. There we go. It's very odd to have it there, I know. But this, like I said, I'm being a little cheeky with this area. It's kind of temporary. It's to pay for the expansion everywhere else. And then the idea that I'm planning anyway is to, once we get this up to level 5, which is getting very close to. Yeah, it's nearly at 13,500. So we just need another 1,000 units. Once we do that, we can build a big offshore drilling rig. And then I'm going to build a big quay wall and set up like a ferry terminal and really redevelop this whole place. So I look forward to that. But it's just not going to be until we level that up and until we get this tile. So it's sort of just big sort of temporary area for now. It's just the industrial shoreline area. All right, well, how are we doing? 64 households in these places. How's our new Carlo Valley? A lot of people said that it's too soon for a stadium. One thing I didn't know about it that a lot of people corrected me on was the fact that it actually attracts lots of tourists. I didn't know that's how it worked. Thought it was just kind of like any other big building. But apparently it's actually its own sort of metagame where once a month on the in-game clock, a match game is played. Sorry, once a year. A match game is played, and it takes place over the course of a month in-game. So I guess you could consider it a tournament, but it's listed as one game, and you can actually have your team play against like the neighboring counties or whatever. And if you win, people are happy, you get the little bonuses and stuff. And I don't know if you can bet on yourself, but you can do stuff to actually encourage more people to visit and fill up the stadium and stuff like that. So it's pretty, sounds all great. I guess it's a little too early, but sounds good. I really want to do it. Now, some people were saying build it on the outskirts of the city. I find that a little strange. I mean, I could be wrong, but most stadiums I know of are built in cities, not on the outside. I thought, like, yeah, you want to put it in, like, in the center. Even if it's going to cause traffic jams. Isn't that where they go? I suppose this whole playthrough has been a bit of a... I've been torn between... I want to make sort of a city that looks like it's one that exists in real life versus one that's super efficient, right? One that, like, not to say that I could make a super efficient city, but sometimes I'm sacrificing efficiency for sure and knowing it because I'm like, well, this would be what an actual city would look like or do. But I suppose if you're literally just designing a brand new city here in 2023 from the ground up, they wouldn't really develop them this way. Especially if we're talking English cities specifically. They're just built on top of each other from old and older towns. So they weren't really planned properly. So I understand that is probably like what's the word? Something that's holding me back in some way from doing certain things. And it's something I'm trying to contend with. It's like, well, I want to make it look like stuff I see. But at the same time, stuff I see isn't always the most efficient. But so far, I think I've struck a nice balance. I'm really happy with how the city's coming along. I think it looks cool. I've got new little areas in here that I'm going to be putting trees and pathways down as well, just to brighten up the place. Create some cut-throughs where we can find them. Something like in here would be good to do that as well. All right, 30,100. We're making really good money. There's still a big demand for offices and regular industry, I assume. Let's see how these guys have taken their jobs. So, out of the highly educated, wow, 202 out of 200. 125 out of 124. 126 out of 124. So that tells me that there is a demand for more office space. Maybe we could look to build more out this way. So we have this little slice of offices over here. I'm thinking get rid of these. I feel a bit bad for them. But relocate them this way and change that to a little office block because it's next to the schools and near industry or near residential and stuff. So I think that might work out better. Let's see. Let's see how we get on with this. So bit drastic. And actually, oh my god, all the cars flooding out of it. Holy crap, all the people. Oh my god, I didn't realize that's the thing that happens. I guess they were literally in the buildings we just got rid of, right? Wow, they've just been evicted. I was just thinking, before we let these offices come in, we should probably build a new hotel. I haven't made a new hotel in a while. And this would be a good area for it. There's offices, there's shops, there's residential. And maybe we could go with one of these more upgraded ones. So we have an old inn, a roadside motel. We want one that has demand for both of these things. I think the budget hotel is the one that has the best demand for commercial. Yeah. You almost want one that has no demand for nature. It's just like commercial, tourism, and business would be ideal. But I don't think we've got that just yet. There might be one later down the line that we can find. Such as this, the City Hotel. So we need 5,000 profit to get to there. So again, that's another just one of these things where it's like, well, we got to build a couple of these then first, don't we? Let's go with right here. That building's going to be destroyed anyway. Would we take? Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay. So there we go. We'll see how this one gets on. I'm surprised it doesn't have more for nature being across from this place, but I guess it's not really nature. It's more just like a big park thing. Business location. Well, these offices are going to pop up. And then the shopping. You know what? We're going to have to move it, actually. Hate to do it. But there we go. So now we've just got a fresh area. This will be... Fresh offices will be plopped in there. We'll see how we get on with this. So basically, you should be next to office businesses in a moment. And then you should be next to commerce when these buildings come back in. It's just across the road. I don't want to hear nothing about it. So hopefully that hotel will do a little bit better. Now, we could do something similar on this side. Put another one maybe around here. Because it's going to be between offices on this side. Commerce there. I was actually thinking of making residential in this area if I could. But like I said, this road might need to just come down a bit before I do that. Certainly this area could go residential. Alright, let's just speed up time. Let's see if we can get this to come in. Again, other hotel over here might be a good shout as well. Let's try to do that. I think I'll just have to keep going with these budget ones at first. And then I think they have a problem with being too close to other hotels. Yeah, so something like that. And then what we could have here maybe at the bottom is just like a row of offices. Whoops. Alright, let's just zone it, see what happens. I don't think that'll ever get used. So maybe we'll do this. Okay, and a pathway going up behind them. Okay, just to break it up as well. Alright, let's just fast forward time. Let's turn off the zoning and see what happens. Alright, so there's no demand for residential right now, which I'm very surprised. You'd think all of these things would be adding lots of jobs. I think it will. It might just take a moment, I guess, to kind of come in. And then the other one is going to be adding way more offices out here. This is the financial district, after all. We'll just have a lot of these different places in here. 15%. We've actually gone up for unemployment. Wow. Traffic 69, 68. That's what I expected to see. Big holdups at the roundabout down here. This is using a timed traffic light as well. What about down at the far end? This is actually holding up okay. And this isn't too bad. It's not like super backed up. I've seen things where it gets like backed up the whole length of the road during that previous time lapse I did, which is why I reconfigured this bridge to say it's cargo only. When I let that go, everyone wanted to use this route, cargo and pedestrian private vehicles, and that backed it up all the way to the edge. So I've gotten rid of that, which seems to be paying off for now. Ooh, I love this building. It's advertising Cities Skylines too. And people are taking my little pathway already. I hate when this happens. You zone a lovely area like this and then some little bastard moves in, taking all the space. Oh, that's why. Well, I guess that's more understandable then, isn't it? Okay. So that hotel should be happy. Yeah, look at this. They love it. 84%. Just whack those prices up. The Anchor Hotel. Oh, yes. Awesome. So if we look at managed hotels, how much are we making now? 253. 2,500. So we still have another... We have to double the amount of hotels we have at this rate if we want to get them to that weekly profit. Now, I was planning on adding a couple cabins up here. So that's another plan of mine. That should generate us some money. And then I'll just have to look for other opportunities. Again, hotels in this area would be good. Yep. Sprinkling offices in amongst the commercial area seems to be working well. A lot of people loitering outside the mall here. Alright, so let's just do a little bit of a sit rep. So we have 700 thereabouts people in the high school. In our two little elementary schools, we have about 600 and about 600 again. Now, of course, we're waiting on people to graduate, but that's their kind of education taken care of. And then the university, of course, is here. So they've got... I don't know why this isn't here. Oh, there we go. High school there, elementary school down here. Let's check these ones. 1,300 out of 2,000. 1,300 again. So, yep, they're fine. Definitely room for more, so we can put in more and more people down this way, hopefully. At least that's the goal. Traffic's getting busy inside this place now as well. And we'll probably want to look for places that we can add in crosswalks from time to time. Yeah, electricity is now fine. All these extra people should be supplying the garbage we need to burn to keep the power on. That's the goal, anyway. What are we up to now? 31223. Remember, as these guys get more educated, their buildings will level up and ideally get bigger. So that's also a factor to think about. It's like the potential population can grow much bigger than what we have. Does anyone know if it's allowed to have pet alligator in urban neighborhoods? Yeah, it's totally fine. No problem with that whatsoever. What's the unemployment? Dropped 4% since we last checked it. Down to 11 now. That's good. Should we try with a bit more office space in here? Let's start... You know what? Yeah, let's just do it. So I want a pathway there and there. So we'll just block all of this in. And we'll just see what we get in terms of buildings. And then here is going to be just a pathway going through. And this one is going to be a bicycle lane. And then we can cover it up with some paving. So it'll just take a second, but we'll just mask all of that pathway as one big kind of road, as it were. Fortunately, though, like I said, I always say it's never totally super good, but it's as good as I can make it. People always say the airport DLC can help me with that, but haven't activated it yet. Well, I have the DLC, but I don't have an airport in the game yet. All right, 518 workers. That's a bit of a big building, if I'll be honest. What about this one? 251. That's pretty good. 247. 163. 247 as well. It's a good way just to make a bunch of jobs like instantly. 163. We'll lock that one down. Lock this one down. This... I don't really like having two of the same like that, so maybe just knock one of them. This one's too big as well, I would say. So just knock that and try regenerate and see what happens. It looks like we're going to get some smaller ones popping in here. Don't know if that's a good thing or not. I'm going to get rid of this. Let's see what pops in. $518, too big. 274, that's pretty good. 274, I'm fine with that. Leave them in. See how we get on with those. Actually, you know what? Leave that one in. Get rid of this one. Again, I feel like we could get 2 buildings here if we get lucky. Or if I just zone one at a time, I suppose would be the thing to do. So maybe a 2 and then a 3. Is that okay? Oh no, you guys go further back, don't you? That's okay. So 2 and then a 2. See if we can get away with that. Just mark them as historical, leave them as they are. See, I wanted more like this. 47, 65, that's the numbers that are good. But this should spike residential demand, all these new job opportunities that people have. That being said, I imagine a lot of them aren't going to get filled, and some of these buildings will just collapse naturally anyway. But we'll see. Alright, there we go. And now we can just zone this other little patch, and the same kind of building should appear there. Alright, so Financial District grows. The Manor District. What can we do for these guys? Is there anything we can give them? Recreational use. Increases mail capacity by 10. For profit education. This is all for living things, isn't it, really? A tax raise for offices. Set the tax rate higher for office buildings, or a tax relief for offices to encourage them to grow. I don't think we have any problem with that. High-tech housing. Yeah, I'm not sure. If you got any ideas which ones you think would work here, let me know. Industry 4.0. All industrial workplaces for well and highly educated citizens. No. It's obviously not meant to be here anyway. Alright, I guess we'll leave it. Encourage biking, I guess. There's bicycle lanes here. I did do that for the other places too. Seaview now has encourage biking as well. You know what? This isn't even... We don't even have a district down here. Let's make one. Alright, Vermont Hills. How fancy. Okay, something like that, and we'll just cut this again. I don't know, I just have an OCD thing about, just kind of want to get rid of that. Alright, cool. So Vermont Hills. So what do we have? Seaview. I wish there was a button you could click to just keep randomly generating. I'm not a massive fan of the name Vermont. Never been or seen the place in real life, but just something about that as a district name I'm not too sold on. But anyway, let's just give them an education boost as well. And whatever else we can help them with. So education boost, recreational use, slightly reduced garbage accumulation, slightly reduced tax income. Nah, let them throw their garbage out, don't care. We burn it anyway. Prefer parks, free Wi-Fi. Reduce mail accumulation by 15%. Yeah, have some free Wi-Fi down here because it's more offices and commercial. So I think that's kind of cool. Alright, we'll just speed up time. How are we doing? 31.4. Nice. And we're still gaining. How's traffic? Oh my god, 59%. I've never seen it drop to below 60. Where is it? Is it just from here? Oh, actually, probably out the back. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, there it is. 3 lanes of traffic just built up. Alright, so what we can do is adjust the time traffic light. 'Cause it's obviously not... It did help significantly, but now there's way more coming in from that side. So let's just see if we can adjust it. So it's on for this one now. Let's just hit stop. We'll hit edit. So it's phase 2 allows these two to roll. And there's minimum time of 10 seconds. What about this one? Minimum time is 5 seconds. So there's your problem. Let's make this 10 as well. And just for now, just to ease things a bit, we'll make the original one. So that's the original one 8. Okay. So start. And I'm just going to... I'm confused. Hang on. This isn't letting anyone go, is it? No, it is. Yeah, cool. Alright, so it'll take a while, but it should mean that more comes out from this side than this side now. And hopefully it'll kind of help. Now, they have to slow down a bit, because when we do... I mean, this one is always green. I've just let them always use that. So that's basically so we're not stopping on the roundabout. You could do that if you want. You know, I was playing around trying to learn these a little bit better. It's actually a really cool system now that I understand it. I think the UI is a bit bad, but you can select multiple nodes. You can go like this one, this one, this one, this one, even this one, and sync them all together. Quite powerful if you know what you're doing. But I don't. But I am learning it. So that's the kind of thing I'd like to get more involved with a bit further down the line for solving really complicated problems. But that kind of thing would be great for roundabouts. I mean, I've been, as people know, learning to drive and going around some roundabouts in the UK at least that have... Normally, if there's a roundabout in the UK that has 3 lanes, those are the ones that often have lights on them. Not always, but often. Whereas in my experience, most roundabouts are 2-lane roundabouts. Almost all of them are, but the really big ones are usually 3-lane, and they usually have guided lanes with lights, and they're not that hard to mess up because you just follow kind of where you're going. But some of them have like 6 exits, right? So it's like you have to go around a lot before you get to it, and that's why they're gated with lights, because it can be quite confusing and you don't know where people are going. Anyways, setting something up like that would be cool if we ever have a really busy intersection and the need for it. Yeah, because I'm seeing, like, these guys are waiting way longer than... That's interesting that they're not coming from there as often. So one thing that I've noticed that I can't really seem to get correct is the rule is more waiting than driving, it should switch after the minimum time. So for instance, we could say, leave that as is, but this one, where we say that this is the green for go, we could set the minimum to be 1. And you'd think that it would change almost instantly, because if there's more waiting than driving, which would mean... Hey, look at the lane to your right. There's way more people going to be waiting there. This should change almost instantly, as long as this lane's bigger. So let's see if that works. That's my understanding of the English language, but we'll see if that works. So it's red now. We're switching now to green, and we're back to red. Oh, it worked. It did work. It's not ideal, but it did work. So obviously we don't want to do that. It's just testing if the logic worked. So we'll set it to be like 5, pretty low. Let's see if it balances out. Again, we're just trying to declutter this highway. Get them to actually come in. Population's still gaining, though. So that's good. Oh, my God. The other lane's just going to start filling up, isn't it? At the end of the day, guys, we have a problem. There's only one way in. And the only way in is here. And it's out of my bounds to do anything about it. So that's just the way it is. Right, it's for residential. So I'm trying to just plan out like a little block, basically, where people can live. And then there'll be parks and things in here too. But we're not going to do the whole thing right now anyway. And some of it will connect out this way too. I'm just trying to think. Actually, this would be a good spot, I suppose. Just connect straight out. Right, let's just try add in a few houses here and see how we get on. Right at the back of the school. And they're going to need their own water and stuff. So let's bring this down. Okay, let's see if we can get some people to move in. I was thinking, like, it's always a problem with the noise pollution. That's what I'm always thinking against. You know, I guess you could have a row of offices there, and then you could have the houses on the other side. Would that be the thing that makes sense? I suppose. I guess so. Let's try that. It just feels wrong to have so much office space in. Let's see. Oh my God. 141. You know what? 141 is actually not that much considering the size of this building. So just make that historical in case it goes huge. What else isn't historical right now? They're all historical. They're all good. So 18 jobs available, 12, 20. So surprised. I'm amazed that we had this many people able to fill these. But I guess it has been a while. People have gotten educated. It's good to see. But the financial district there is kind of growing. All right. People are starting to move in down here. Could we try the wall-to-wall office buildings, actually? I haven't seen that, so it might be kind of cool to see. Wall-to-wall residential might actually be kind of neat at the back of the high school and stuff, like little apartments. Boarding students and stuff, you could think of it as. That could be a maybe. Let me know what you think of that idea before we go massive high density again. I don't know. I'm undecided. I could debate these things with myself for a long time. Just put this in. Prospect Park. Okay. So Prospect Park, we need to give it an office specialization, wall to wall. Now, it says the probability of fire starting these buildings is reduced. I actually think I feel like if houses are built on top of each other, you think it could be increased, but it says fire spreads more easily between them. And what was this? Leisure specialization. Districts specialized in leisure activities have more vibrant nightlife and many options for daytime relaxation as well. Causes noise pollution. Commercial zones are active 24/7. I want Carlo Valley to be like this, because what we're going to do now is throw in a couple new buildings also. This one, the Music Club. People can enjoy the local music culture all around the year, even when there are no bands playing in the festival area. And then the other one I wanted to put in was a cinema, because they tend to fit together. And then we can have a pathway going between the two areas. Now, I thought about facing it inside here, but it just seems to make more sense to me that you'd be on the big road. And there's the big car park right there as well. And then, you know, people from the university can go to the cinema, go hang out at the mall or whatever. And this one too. I think it makes sense. So now we've got a row of office buildings, so we'll see how that looks. And then we're going to have a row of houses just behind it. And it's both. Could we do the apartments here, actually, maybe, and see what that looks like? Don't know if you can specialize it as both, but maybe. Oh, you can. Interesting. Yeah, I tell you what, we're going to specialize it this way first, and then if I change my mind on that, we can let them go full development. So a little indecisive, but you're just seeing me do a little bit of trial and error here on the fly. So Prospect Park. So these houses are probably going to get deleted. Maybe even the offices will, but we're going to see wall-to-wall offices now. I've never seen them before, so we'll see what they look like. Don't know if this one counts yet, but these ones will. Because it might have come in just before I gave the specialization. Yeah. Yeah, they all seem to have that, like, artwork, I guess, on their buildings. Weird from the back. And oh, they can level up. Let's just mark them as historic for now, so they don't. Oh yeah, it says it's not a wall-to-wall, actually. It actually says it on it, if it is. And then they have variations that we can switch between, in terms of that art style. Oh my god. I don't know if I like this. I mean, it is literally wall-to-wall, isn't it? I didn't know they'd literally all be touching each other. I thought it meant, like, within the plot. Interesting, I guess. I suppose, you know what, let's let some of these level up and see what they look like. Don't know if they ever change. Not sure. And then we got these ones. At least these look more broken up, right? They're not literally all wall to wall. Some of them are changing now as well. Going even taller. All right, how many we got? 31,800. We're getting damn close. Getting damn close. At least it's different. It's something different to look at for now. Oh crap, I just realized something. Why has this happened? Oh shit, I didn't realize. Because we switched this to a leisure district, the buildings are all changing too. Oh, I had no idea. Didn't know that was a thing. Damn. I'm gonna have to change that back. We want these to be the way they were. Damn it. It's gonna maybe affect things now. Okay. I just meant for the parks and stuff. I didn't think the buildings would change. So it's in the specializations. Maybe I should have read it more carefully. I don't know if it said. Commercial zones are active 24/7. So we have like little arcades and things opening. That's cool, but it's not what I want. Yeah. Alright, I'll get rid of it then. I don't even know how to change it to nothing. Tourism specialization? I wonder what that looks like for various things. Organic and local produce. Produce 50% of sold goods locally. Truck traffic in the area is reduced. Interesting. Increases electricity consumption by 50% and reduces garbage reduction. You know what? Let's try that instead.
See what happens. Oh, I feel bad. There's a lot of job displacement when that happens because all these buildings are going to change out. You know, it's massively disruptive. So we're so close to hitting the number, though. Oh, no, it's probably going to go down while these jobs are collapsing, I feel like. Damn. Well, let's zone in a few more houses here and see what happens. God, we're like 100 away. We're so close. This wouldn't look so bad if I just made a few cut-throughs myself, you know? I just didn't realize the way that it was going to be in a perfect line like that. So I think I might keep it, and maybe if I just make a few of the lines myself, it could look okay. Let's see what we got now in terms of... So these are going to be commercial green buildings now, are they? Because it's organic produce. Yeah, okay, so that's not happening either. Okay, so get rid of these specializations. How do we do that? Commercial specializations. Is this just default? Just get that out of my face. All right. Refresh this whole area again for the last time, hopefully. Now, in the interest of time... Hey, we did it! Oh, nice! I really didn't think we were going to do it there for a moment. Sorry for such a anxious build-up. We actually hit it dead on the money. 32,000. Boom. 2 by 2. All right. Nailed it. Easy. It only took, hey, 70%. Not that bad. We came back a little bit. We're thinning this out ever so slightly while building this other lane up now. All right, so let's buy out that next slot. 14,000 easy. Oh, so good. Okay, now we've got all of this highway to play with. And we can bring that, plug it straight in. In fact, just for a little bit of fun here at the end of the episode. It's not going to be the way it's going to go, but I'm just going to grab this, and we're just going to connect it right over here. Can we do that? Oh, we have to go over the rail line. Just for fun. We have money. Why not? Oh. Have to use this. Just for fun. I want to see what it looks like. All right, there you go. You got a new connection in, boys. So anyone coming from this way, which had to circle around. So that inner line might still be busy because they're coming from the other direction. But this line should clear out really quickly now, I feel like, because once they realize and they recalculate, any future cars are just going to go along down this way, most likely. Take a radical turn. Should we maybe make a highway off-ramp? I think that would probably make most sense for these guys. There you go. Nice and smooth. Super smooth, yeah. Hey, someone's used it. We got our first people using it. Yikes. It's not pretty, but people are using it. There we go. Next car that comes this way, we're going to follow him. This guy, you can tell. Nope. He just shifted lanes. I was like, yeah, he's going to use it. Okay, we got one. A box truck. Let's go. But this will be the idea, that we're going to have a nice thick highway leading straight in, bypassing all of the suburbs just to take you straight into the heart of the city. So that's what I'm looking forward to actually doing. I'm a little nervous about having to design this out and then thinking of the cargo link terminal. So the two things I was thinking of would be the bus, train, and tram hub. That seems like a good one. And then have across from that, hey, we just hit level 5 for the oil industry. We now have the offshore oil drilling platform. And the naphtha cracker plant. Holy crap. And a sneaker factory. So across from this, the bus, train, tram hub, I was thinking of building the Metro Intercity bus hub. So the Metro will connect to buses, and then the trains and trams can connect together here. I don't have to build anything onto the buses this way, but a train to tram hub. Ideally, I want train, tram, and metro, but I don't know if there's a building that does those three. Train, tram, metro, and bus, I suppose, if you want to add the bus onto it, but I could do without. But that's what I'll be looking for, and that's going to be really in the heart, and then everything's going to be kind of built around that, in a way. Alright, so these office buildings should be reappearing now. Glad to see some of these are popping back in already. And we'll just give it a minute, but we are making bank. 32,000 large, 32 large. And I'll have to think about these. These designed buildings, I don't know, they have me sort of mixed feelings about some of them. I like the ones that are kind of blank, but the ones that have art all over them, it's a bit much. And that was cool down at this place. It's nice to have it just like in a small little bit. But in the main city, I don't know, it feels like it might be a bit too much. Alright, so I've been zooming in and out a lot. We'll just go into regular kind of cinematic view and just take one last little look at the area. I'll try to focus on where we just built, right? So we just built this little area here. Office buildings on the outskirts with a bus line right outside of it. Apartment blocks as far as the eye can see at the back of it. A little bit too much, I think. Due for a redevelopment already. But then we now have our new cinema. We have our nightclub, I guess. And then we have new office buildings and commercial buildings here, as well as these are actually just commercial building. Oh no, they are office. Yes, excuse me. Office buildings and commercial buildings. The new department store. Across from the high school. Down to bigger commercial buildings. We have our car park, new community pool, healthcare center, sports hall and gymnasium. Metro stations moved. We've all these new residential buildings now here. And the traffic is starting to kind of clear up now on this side too. I think because of that highway thing. Still super busy on the highway actually coming in here. Although it looks like it's starting to thin out, maybe slightly. And getting really backed up here. Yeah, so I'll have to figure all that out. But I think what I might now do is maybe I'll just do the unlock all mod, because I don't think there's much left for us to actually unlock. Like there's, I guess there is a few buildings. Maybe I could even just restrict myself to not using them until we feel like I get there. But I basically just want access to more tiles, because it's just a little too limiting now. Like I need to be able to access this. It's just become too much. And the whole point of this mod was that you should just do it straight away. So I'll think about it. Let me know what you think, if you'd be okay with that. If people are like, no, do not under any circumstance unlock all the tiles, then I'll be like, all right. Because it comes with unlocking everything. So there's no more progression at that point. It's just a matter of us wanting to build up to get to 75,000 or whatever. And I'll have the tools then to build all this out. So that's going to have to be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Let's just have one last look. 66. Got to get that number up. All right, yeah, thank you very much for watching. Again, looking forward to all the feedback and... well, yeah, just general feedback, suggestions, and feedback. That's what I was trying to think of the word suggestions for doing this new industrial area. We have all this new area to play with, so there's a lot to come. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.